Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to today's deck profile. I'm so I can't believe it, but I just won the YCS guys for North America remote duels, and I played pack kids or prank kids, and I'm really excited to be showing this deck profile. But before I start, I just want to give a huge shout out to Luxury Gaming for being my sponsor. A huge shout out to Cam the man Neil, free my boy. Shout out to Scott Page and shout out to Colin Bradshaw. They were the people who essentially constructed the deck list and theoried with me the most. They helped come up with this deck list, and then of course shout out to Christian Urena and everyone else from the Los Bozos Cord. I just had probably I met some really dope people there, and it was an insane testing group, and just a good community of friends. And of course, big shout out to Nadir. Farfa. I promised him. He messaged me, I think, when I was in top 8. He was like, yo. He was like, bro. He was like, Pack, you gotta shout me out, bro. And so I told him I promised him I would if I win. So here is your shout, Nadir. Thank you, Farfa, for the 50 gifted as well, man. You're the GOAT. Shout out to you, Farfa. Um, Honestly, one of the best content creators we have right now. Seriously, the GOAT. So I look up to him a lot, and he's insane. But now we're gonna get into the deck profile, and also of course shout out to everyone that supported me. Shout out to everyone that believed in me. Of course, um, yeah. Shout out to my parents for supporting me in this game as well. And we're gonna get started, guys. So here's my deck profile. Three prank kids, fansies. I'm sorry, lamsies. Three fansies, three dropsies, and then two Roxies. So this was the prank kid lineup. Um, I wish I had a third Roxy's, but I didn't own one, so I only played two, and you'll see what I played instead. But so yeah, so this is what I have so far. Pretty much, if you count the amount of names, it's 11 hard prank kid names in total. Um, Now for the spice, the other monsters, 3 parallel exceed. Um, so this was like crazy meta call. So the idea was basically parallel exceed was a really good way to play through Ash Blossom, essentially letting your first kid resolve. It also was a really strong card because going second, it actually helped me break Shen Shen one time. Um, it's actually how I won my round 11 matchup. But the parallel exceed was very strong. It also gave me access to Dweller in like the Dytron matchup. This card was just very powerful, and it let me kill my opponent going second. So chain blocking the kids was really strong. And the reason why Parallel Exceed was in the main deck was because basically we decided to make the concession to lose to Nibiru, mainly because like we didn't expect people to main deck that card or sometimes not even side it. So Parallel Exceed was a really good card that basically abused the fact that people were not playing Nibiru in their main deck. So this is the reason why we played Parallel Exceed, mainly because people were going to play Ash, Imperm, Veiler, and the Ash doesn't matter when this card resolves, and then like the Imperm and Veiler just doesn't do anything to this deck. That's why this deck was a really good meta call for the event, because Veiler and Imperm being a very common hand trap, and this deck just pushing through it. I remember in one of my Swiss rounds, I got Veiler, Imperm, Ash, and I played through the entire thing and ended on a full Butler board with hand traps. So that's it for some monsters for the hand trap lineup. We have 3 Ash Blossom. So the Ash Blossom was just a very generic card. I don't really need to explain it, but it was good in every matchup, so I wanted to have Ash Blossom. And then we have 3 Ghost Spell. So this card was like pretty weak for me, but I basically liked the fact that Ghost Spell was really nice when into the Tri Brigade matchup. It's like iffy. Like if you draw with another hand trap, it's really strong. But I just wanted more hand traps that I could draw off of pranks. So that's why I wanted to play cards like Bell, and we'll see that I don't play Impermanence. But yeah, Ghost Bell I thought was like pretty solid. It's also like randomly good in like certain matchups, and like the mirror match is like really strong. So I really like this card. As well in the mirror match, which I definitely respected. I played 1 mirror match, and the Bell was like coming in clutch. And then the last 3 hand traps, I only played 9. Was 3 Effect Veiler. So yeah, Effect Veiler was just a good card for like the Tri Brigade matchup. And it was a card you can draw off pranks. That's why we play this over Impermanence. So only 9 hand traps in the main deck. Just because against the Tri Brigade matchup, you don't really need like Valor and Imperm. All you need is like if you draw cards like Poly, you can crack the rest of their board if you play it right. So yeah, these were the cards. Next we hit for some spell cards. I guess I'll start off with the Prank Kid spells, and then I'll go into like the other ones. We have 3 Prank Kids placed. The field spell. This card is broken. I actually won my top 32 match with this card, but people obviously couldn't watch the match. But I literally did some of the craziest plays with Prank Kids plays. I reduced my opponent's Crystal Wing 3 times to actually beat over it. Because if you don't know, Prank Kids plays his once per card, like once per card. So I actually like reduced his monster, and I was able to, believe it or not, no hand traps. 0 hand traps, going second into Virtual World Game 3, top 32 of the YCS. 0 hand traps. I cracked the board. Kaliga, Crystal Wing, and Chuche. With this. This card was absolutely goated. Next we have 3 Pandemonium, just standard. I max out poly cards. Just very, very strong. And then we play just 1 Pranks because I actually don't play Desires. So that's why I can afford to play just 1 Pranks. So 7 Prank Kid spells. There, I never needed a second Pranks because I don't play Desires. So next for some more non-engine spell cards, we'll start off with Triple Tactics Talent. This card was absolutely insane. I played this over Desires. I just thought that it was one of the best cards going second and going first. It just did everything. I think its effect, if you just read it, is just so crazy. And for a format where there's like infinite hand traps in the format, so you capitalize on the fact that the deck engine, like there are hands where I would literally, like I would open up like, let's say like Prank Kid, Parallel Exceed, and actually not use my Exceed just because I want them to hand trap me so I can look their hand, extend with an extender, and then still combo regardless. So yeah, Tactics was an amazing card for me. Every time I drew it, I felt really good about it. I really, really like this card. It was honestly the best card in my deck by a mile. Like, so broken. Next, we have 2 Poly. So, yeah, these are... I got these from Henry. Shout out to Henry and shout out to George for selling me first at LOBs, polymerizations. So... basically, this card was played mainly so that we can have 5, in total, 5 Pandemoniums or 5 fusion cards. And basically, the goal of this card was never to, like, play through a lot of, like... It wasn't, like, to make Toad, but it was basically so that you can extend past getting the first kid get hand-trapped. Because we realized that there were a lot of hand traps in the format. And this card is also really insane because going second into Tri-Brigade boards... Polymerization is a card that helps you crack that board. Even if they have Appaloosa Revolt, you can beat that with Poly. So this card is very, very strong. So yeah, I decided to only play 2 instead of 3, mainly because I wanted to play this card instead, which was Monster Reborn. Also, shout out to Henry again. He sold me this is actually a PSA 7. I cracked it just to put in my deck for the tournament. But this is a LOB first ed Monster Reborn. Actually, it was PSA graded, but I cracked it. But yeah, this one. So I decided to play Monster Reborn and 2 Poly instead of 3 Poly and no Monster Reborn because Monster Reborn plus a kid works really well, where Poly needs 2 kids to function. So that's why we play 2 and 1 instead of 3 and 0. Just because like a kid and a Monster Reborn lets you function, but if you go normal summon kid gets hand trap with Poly, it doesn't do anything. So that's why. So that's those are some of the cards. And then for the rest of the 1-ofs, we played 1 call by. I don't think I really need to explain it. Shout out to Gabriel Susi for putting me on. He was the first person to put me on the Prank Kid deck when no one believed in the deck and everyone said the deck was trash. So yeah, honorary mention to like Gabriel Susi. If he's in the chat, he's honestly the GOAT. Like I think Cam in our Discord, he literally even said this. He said, honestly, if Pac didn't talk to us about Prank Kids, we wouldn't even be theorying the deck in general right now. And then I was like, the only reason I even talked about Prank Kids in the first place was because of Gabriel Susi. So shout out to that man, bro. He's the GOAT. We played Call by the Grave. So 1 for 1, basically a way to like just play through Ash Blossom on the first normal summon. Um, like I just think that Ash was a very common hand trap. And this card like helps you like play through it. So we decided to play 1 for 1 for that reason. And then we played one instant fusion. I don't really need to explain it. The card is just like insane. Um, just lets you like play through a lot of interruptions, and like going first it lets you beat Ash and Nibru. So the last card was one Twin Twister in the main deck. A lot of people might be questioning like why is there one random twin in your deck, and it was because I didn't have a third Roxy's. So because I didn't own the third Roxy's, I decided to just only main one deck one twin. But let me explain it. So this card would have been a Duster. A lot of people would have played one Duster just because it's a one of, right? But I was steering with Cam, and I talked to him about it. I'm like, I wanted to play one back row removal, like in the form of like originally this card was Duster. This card was Duster. So this card was Duster. So I was gonna play Duster, but then I'm like, why play one of Duster when Twin Twister is a better card than Duster because it's a quick play spell. So that's why I wanted to play the Twin Twister, because I'm like, I realized that this card was better than Duster. If I was going to play any one back removal, it would be a twin. So just because it can beat Imperial Order and beat Anti-Spell, because people are like main decking that. Also, it beats Solemn Strike. So like if I open this, I'd rather just like beat Revolt and Strike against the Tri-Brigade matchup. So its card was basically supposed to be a Duster. But a lot of people, like when they deck build, they're like, oh, it's a one of, so let's just put one ofs into the deck. But instead of playing Duster and like not thinking too much about it, I told Cam, let's switch from Duster to Twin Twister because it's just a better card and quick play spells are just better. We've seen the power of quick play spells, so this is it. So it's just way better in the mirror match as well. Exactly, like Twin Twister in the mirror match is way better than Duster. I'd rather twin my Prank Kid mirror than like Duster my opponent. So that's why Twin was there. Yeah, Twin over Cosmic because your opponent, if you're playing the Prank Kid mirror, they're gonna set more than one. So like it just beats it. That's why. Next we're gonna go over the side deck. So I side the other two twin, just so I have more twins, and then I side the last two Cosmic Cyclone. So I have 5 quick play spells going second. So I want quick play spells because, bro, like literally have you guys watched the EU finals? Or like Raph has been drawing Imperial Order more than Herman. Literally, like I just been, I don't know, like I just have PTSD from like Herman Hansen, bro. Like they always draw Imperial Order, so I'm tired of it, and that's the only reason like why I lose. So quick play spells to beat that. Next, this was Cam's idea. 3 evenly match. So this was originally Lightning Storm. But Cam convinced me to play evenly match because a lot of people were playing anti-spell. So like evenly match would be better than anti-spell, would be better in theory, because a lot of people were playing anti-spell. So like if people were playing anti-spell and you side Lightning Storm, you just get bodied by anti-spell. So instead of getting bodied by anti-spell, we just side evenly match, and like they don't have a way to negate evenly match against Tri-Brigade. So you just evenly match their board, and then like they just lose everything. They keep 1. If they keep Revolt, you can beat it with any extender. If they keep Appaloosa, you can chain block with Place, right? So like it just puts them in a very difficult position. So that's why evenly match was in here. However, in practice, this card was terrible for me. I never sided in against Tri-Brigade because I felt like I just beat that deck inherently through my own engine with like Poly, and like so I actually never sided this card. Like Triple Tactics Talent beat the deck, like the Tri-Brigade deck half the time. I beat all my Tri-Brigade opponents except Senna. I went 10-1 in Swiss, and Senna, who made top 4, was my only loss in Swiss because I opened 0 Prank Kids. I don't know how, but you guys even saw again, Caesar game 3, I opened 0 Prank Kids. Like, people probably think, Pack, you're capping. You don't open 0 Prank Kids. I'm like, guys, I actually do open 0 Prank Kids, and that happened in game 3 of round, like, top 4, right? Like, I told you. So sometimes you just don't open Prank Kids, but anyways, so evenly match, I don't know. Every time I, like, saw this in my side deck, never put it in. Only against Caesar, I guess. It was okay. Next, this card is the GOAT, bro. Psy-Frame Gear Gamma. This card was insane. Dude, I love this card. It came in against every deck. Every deck I played against, this card came in, and I loved it. Like, it was so good. Like, there was, like, I just love this card. Shout out to, if you guys are from France, shout out to you guys. I got these in French. And shout out to Lucas who sold them to me. But yeah, anyways, Cypher Game Gammas, so broken. Literally one of the best cards in my side deck. I love this card. Every time I open it, I was so happy. Even going first, I was so happy to have this card. Like, yeah, shout out to the entire country of France, bro. You guys are the GOAT. Um, so Gamma, just not really to explain. It was just so good. Yeah, Gamma was really broken against Dytron. So let me explain. So someone's asking about like the Dytron matchup. So I played Blade Yugioh in top 16, and basically what happened was Gamma. So when your opponent activates a Dytron and tributes a Dytron from the hand, and you Gamma it, that puts them so they only have 3 cards in their hand, and they need to open another Dytron or a Ritual to extend. That's not the easiest thing to do in the world. So that's why Gamma is very, very strong. So. And then last, we played 3 Nibiru. This card was just basically realizing that the Prank Kid Mirror is pretty bad. And I really like this card because your opponent can like overextend into like the Nibiru. It was a good card against Dragon Link, which I played against. It was like pretty good against Dytron if you open it up with like other hand traps. So I just wanted to play this. I also respected Salamangreat Gates, and so Nibiru was in there for that matchup as well. Like this basically covered like the rogue matchups, and so yeah, so pretty much 3 Nibiru with like the last 3 card. And then Pankratops. This card, yo, I mean this card is insane. Shout out to Scott Page, bro. Dino's best deck. So not much to explain Pank. Pank is just Pank, right? Like you open it, it's just so good. For the extra deck, 3 Meow Meow, 3 Bird, 1 Bow Wow Bark. So guys, these ratios are mandatory. I don't like, you cannot play 2 birds, man. Like you need 3 for the grind game. You only need 1 of this if you play the deck like really well. Like you only need 1. You never need a second one. 3 Meow Meow because your normal summon is gonna keep getting interrupted. You need to have more in the deck to keep playing. This is something I cannot change. Like I was like this was the ratio for sure. Next we have for the fusions is just gonna be 1 Weather Washer, 1 Rocket Ride, and 1 Butler. Not much more to say about this. Like that's just the ratio. You don't need more. You don't need less. Like it's just this served me really well. So 10 cards right there. And then for the 5 slots, we have we'll start off with Nightmare Phoenix. So Phoenix was very strong. I remember there was one game where I nibbed my Tri-Brigade opponent. I activated Pranks, made a token, and I baited out his Revolt with the Phoenix, and then I normal summoned a Prank and won the game. So there was that. We had Nightmare Unicorn just to like break boards. Pretty much Access Code Talker, just a very strong Link 4 that the deck can really like easily access. And then 1 totally awesome Krapalike. Yeah, this card was just amazing. Like you saw me like play through a Nibiru and kill my opponent because of this card. So it's just an amazing card on the fall to help you kill your opponent. Very, very strong card. And then lastly, I think the MVP of my extract that I'm really happy I played, a card that won me my top 16 matchups and so many matchups, Dweller, Abyss Dweller. This card was so great, man. I really like this card a lot. Yeah, Residence de Abyss, also in French. But this card was so awesome. Like, who saw the combo in top 4 game 1? Yeah, so this card was on an awesome one. I'll explain after. But game 1, you guys saw I made Dweller Toad plus Butler, which was so crazy. Like, it was so insane. I mean, I actually figured out that combo on the spot. I came up with it on the spot, actually. It was on the fly combo, which is kind of insane. Cam asked me, he's like, yo, like, what the hell? Like, I'm taking notes. I'm like, yeah, I literally came up with it on the spot. I didn't even know what I was doing. So it's kind of base. But, yeah, this card was very, very good for me. Yeah, I played against Blade top 16. I won the dice roll, and I was able to make Dweller against him, and pretty much he just conceded. So you might be wondering why there's no Oswa. So I actually thought about playing Oswa in the extra deck. The reason why there's no Oswa is because I don't think a lot of people are gonna be on Contact C, mainly because because you got to keep in mind that the setting we're in. This was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, the ban list happened like maybe a week before, and everyone cut Contact C from their extra deck or their side deck because Pure Zodiac got hit. So Pure Zoo getting hit was actually made this deck one of the best meta calls for the tournament because a lot of people cut Contact C. So like basically like there was so many factors that I thought that made this deck one of the best picks for the YCS, and the one of the reasons was also due to the ban list, being that because Pure Zoo got hit, it made this deck so much better. Pure Zoo was such a bad matchup for Prank Kids, and like the fact that the cards that they were main decking to beat Pure Zoo was beating this too. So I was really really happy that like Pure Zoo got hit because it made this deck so much better. But that's pretty much the deck profile, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you again for all your support. You guys are, amazing. You guys are the GOAT from Twitch community, from the YouTube community, from everywhere. But thank you so much. And yeah, guys, I don't know what's going to happen from here, but I'm just excited. Check out the twitch.tv/pack_official_TCG as well. I live stream a lot of my gameplay, a lot of the decks I build, and I try to like actually show how to like succeed with those decks. So if you guys want to, check me out, just add me or follow me in the description box below for my Twitch channel as well. But thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.